I am a velociraptor.
No, say it like a velociraptor would.
Yeah, velociraptor.
What the
Welcome back to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. I'm here with...
Why are you so low energy? What
are you talking about? I'm not.
That's
low
usually
energy.
not the way you open everything. I'm Stan
just,
Morton-Cini, by the way.
I can't just be normal.
This is Watson Bradshaw on NPR.
Yeah.
And I'm Chad Cook. I'm
The Quiet Storm.
The Quiet Storm.
It sounds terrifying.
It does. I don't like to talk like that to myself sometimes because I get scared.
Yeah.
But I guess we're here with our favorite guest, Dan Mason.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
That's
Yeah.
Crew energy.
I've been dragged out by my shackles from the basement, so
Yes.
they obviously brought me here to make me talk about something.
That's
So what is
right.
it this time, guys?
This time it's going to be Five Nights at Freddy, which you're a big fan of, so I've heard.
Yes. Huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's.
How much of a fan?
Do you want me to do this big with my hands?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
This big.
That's not his hands. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I was one of the early adapters.
Everybody says that.
Well, I mean, it's not a badge of pride to say you watched a video game early.
He does have that Five Nights tramp stamp.
Yeah.
That's
That we
true.
all...
That's true.
Okay.
But it was when you first... It's funny because I'm so desensitized to it now that like I forget that it originally was like a creepy thing that like used to scare me.
Right.
And then it's just like this huge world building thing where it's like not even scary anymore. It's so kid focused, but I'm so involved. It's like in a very different way. It's like wrestling where it's like this is no longer what I jumped into when I first started.
Right.
But like it's this new thing I also like.
I was going to say, do you like what it's grown into?
Yeah, but it's like it's off the rails batshit, but I've already put in the work.
Right.
So
you feel you're too far in to get out?
I'm too in. I'm in
That
too
makes
deep.
sense. Yeah.
You're Donnie Brasco in it. You're just too in.
Yeah, like
Pretty much, yeah.
They're into like getting into AI murderers and stuff, and
wow.
it's like
Okay.
and it's going off the rails.
How many games have there been now?
They had like 6 of the originals plus Ultimate Custom Night, and then which is like if you watch footage of this, it's insane. They have every single character basically from the entire franchise, and you can crank them all up to 20, which is the most difficult level.
Yeah.
And people have beaten this game, but like they beat it crying and shaking. Like,
Oh, wow.
It's just such an assault on your senses.
Right.
But then this new iteration of Five Nights at Freddy's is like Security Breach, which is the first like roaming game where you can actually move around.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask if the template has changed at all. Are you still just the security guy at the desk, looking at the camera stuff?
Yeah, and they find different iterations to do it, but because there wasn't a story at first, it was just so the creator Scott Cawthon, he made a game about beavers or something,
Right.
When as an indie game developer, and people told him that the beavers looked freaky, like those.
Right, it wasn't supposed to be a horror game.
It wasn't supposed to be a horror game; it was a kids game.
Right.
But they said these characters look so freaky; they're like those '80s animatronics. So he took that idea and he made a scary animatronic game.
Right.
He didn't have lore; it was just what it was. It wasn't until it built up a fan base that he started like incorporating little things, and like the cool thing is that if you're like a lore hunter, which is one of my favorite things to do, is sort of like finding the things and make it seem like it's like when the creators make you feel like you discovered it, opposed to being like something they gave you.
Right.
It makes you feel really good about
Yeah.
looking into it more. So he would hide his stuff in like very obscure ways. Like if you press the tiles on a panel that say like 1987 or like that on a phone, old phone extension, like a hidden cutscene, 8-bit cutscene will pop up.
Oh, nice.
And like through these things, you start getting like the stories of like, ultimately, we should backtrack for everyone listening. Five Nights at Freddys is about 5 children being murdered inside a pizzeria, and their ghosts haunt or possess the animatronics after hours. And then there's stories that build up from that. It would be insane for me to go into all the lore of it.
Right.
It's maddening. But Matt Pat from The Game Theorist does a great job summing them up. There's a lot of YouTube personalities that have tried to tackle it, and it's cool because there is no definitive storyline.
Is there stories that contradict other stories? Like,
absolutely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I can see how it's maddening because that's part of the problem with, well, not a problem, but just creating any kind of franchise like this where you don't really have that roadmap at the beginning. So it just seems like, oh, well, I want to go this way. It's like same with the Assassin's Creed games. I felt like at some point they were just like, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, we're just going to do all this crazy shit. And it sometimes you kind of need that roadmap. You need that kind of base storyline. But in this version, I don't think he probably didn't expect it to expand as big as it got. You know,
And the first 3 games came out in like a year.
Yeah.
Within each other, they came out every few months.
Yeah.
And like the first 4 games maybe were out in like 2 years, and like they thought that was going to be the end of it.
It's crazy how it's a really kind of still new franchise.
Yeah, and it's like 10 years old, basically, or 9 years now. But the thing that keeps bringing me back is this, like I said, this thing of discovery. A lot of the things are given to you in little bits, and usually they answer something from the game before. So like when a new game comes out, you're digging through all this stuff, and there's like code in the files of the game, and there's like URLs that they take you to, and like cryptic messages. And there's all these things, and you're like, oh, that's what that was. That's why that thing was there.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it's like, oh, that thing in the background was actually from this location. And if you overlay it over this map, it means those locations were on the same place. And it's like, that means that they took place in the same time. And you're starting to put these things together. Not once does anyone say this to you.
Right.
It's never in the game. There is no dialogue. There's rarely any sort of thing.
Right.
And you're a different guard each game. Like, you're not the same person ever.
So that's another thing. People think that you are the murderer's son. So I'm going to try to give this a brief recap so we can talk about the movie a bit. Because I'll talk about the Aftons just because it will tie into this movie a bit. The murderer of those kids was William Afton, and he was the owner of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. So his daughter was accidentally killed by an animatronic at one of his earlier establishments.
Okay.
So he took it out on his business partner's kid and killed her in the street. But because I'm trying to think of how to round this out so it's not so exaggerated, but because he killed her in the street, one of the security puppet animatronics tried to protect her, but died. Like, the batteries and didn't work anymore laying on top of her to protect her from bleeding out. So that puppet animatronic possessed that soul.
Okay, gotcha.
Or her soul possessed the puppet animatronic.
Right. Yeah.
So now this puppet animatronic is roaming around this pizzeria thing, protecting the kids from adults. However, that's not the first game. The first game takes place at a different establishment where William Afton kills 5 kids on a separate basis. But the puppet takes these kids and because it doesn't want them to be lost in the void, puts their bodies into Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, and Golden Freddy. And through that's why they're attacking adults. They think that they don't know what happened to them, but they think you're the killer.
Interesting. Okay.
So in the game, the original game, is the location abandoned and messed up like the way it is in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll get bits of lore from phone calls that come in early in the shift every night that you come back. And I think they also try to replay it. So because of all this is happening, William Afton had 3 kids. He had a younger daughter who got killed by the animatronic early. Then he had this middle son, which we don't know the name of them yet. They call it the crying child because every time we see them, they're crying because they're terrified of animatronics. Intentionally so, because the dad built scary animatronics to scare them. so they don't go near animatronics because it killed his daughter.
Interesting.
But then this older son was like in his teenage years and like with all his friends and whatever. So he'd pick on his middle brother or his younger brother. And then when it was his birthday, the middle brother's birthday, the older brother picked him up and put him inside of one of the animatronics to scare him. But it was a spring lock suit. And a spring lock suit means a human can put it on if all the springs are locked into place. And if you get out of it, they'll transform into an animatronic again and can move on their own. It's like a fictional thing in this world. So the spring locks are very fidgety. And when they get wet, they can clamp down. And what happened was his tears, because he was crying so much, made the spring lock activate and ended up killing him. So now he lost 2 kids to animatronics, despite what he was trying to do. So we think the older son is the security guard, and he's trying to get his brother, or trying to find his brother's soul, and trying to stop his dad, because he knows his dad's doing this now.
Okay.
Interesting. And so when his daughter was killed by animatronic, that was an accident, or the animatronic came to life, or what?
So take everything you just heard, right? Now we're going to a separate entity that took place before the first game.
Okay.
And this takes place in a video game called Sister Location, which I think is the 5th game. But it's a prequel. But everyone didn't know that because all the animatronics look super high tech. But it was just they were flashier animatronics.
Right.
But in the first game, they go back to an old-looking model, and that's why they look like they're...
A little clunkier.
Yeah. But they were like way ahead of their time, futuristic animatronics in this world. But they were before, like, early 80s. So, William Afton was always a killer. And his family was like his side life. So he was doing all this to like lure kids in, and like he just had this sick side. So these animatronics can mimic voices of the parents to lure kids away. They have compartments in their stomach to trap kids. And they have like a lot of things that you can like see in the blueprints of the video game if you find these like hidden codes. So, and you can see like kids inside the stomachs in these blueprints. So he kept telling his daughter, stay away from Baby is her name. She's like this clown animatronic. And it's like, stay away from her. But she's like, oh, but she's so perfect. I want to see her. So when the dad's away, she sneaks off to see Baby, and Baby offers her an ice cream from her compartment in her stomach, which is like, it's an ice cream dispenser.
Right.
But it's actually a trap. So she grabs the ice cream and gets devoured and clamped into Baby's stomach and chopped in half. So now the daughter's dead, but that's Sister Location, and takes us to this movie, which to give the audience a little break from what I've just been ranting on about, because if you're in it, it's super fun. I can understand if people aren't in it, but what did you guys think of the movie?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay, back to the game.
Yeah.
So,
no, I was a little surprised. I think I was expecting more horror aspects of it. I was expecting bigger scares, but then I didn't realize it was PG-13.
Yeah.
Until like after the fact, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
we will be spoiling the movie.
Yes,
Oh,
there
yes.
will be spoilers.
It's been out for a while.
But you can see it on Peacock too in the movie theater.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
And I saw it on Peacock, and you saw it on the big screen, obviously.
Yeah.
How many times?
4 in total.
4 in total.
On the screen?
Oh no, 3 on the screen.
Oh, wow.
1 on Peacock.
Okay.
Stan, you did the big screen.
I saw the big screen, and then I saw it with Chad and Dan. Yeah.
I only saw it on the big screen, but I did see AMC was doing a 5-night thing. If you saw it 4 nights in a row at the theater, the 5th night would be free.
Oh,
you
And
were
I was
so
like,
close.
oh, you were so close, though.
there you go.
Well,
Might as well.
No, I don't. I saw it in every format they had. I'm good. I'm good.
Was it the?
I did see a
the
bunch of hidden
70
stuff.
millimeter version better? That no.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the Tarantino
Did
cut
you?
was great.
Yeah. Did you see a 3D version? You didn't see that
There
one?
was not a 3D version,
4DX, just
40x.
rocking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
but there was like stuff. So every time, because I'm so deep in this, it's rich with lore if you follow the series.
Yeah.
And I was like, one, I don't think the hate for it was justified. I think if you didn't like it, it still wasn't like a 23 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I was surprised by that rating.
What? It got a bad rating?
Oh,
I didn't see that.
But it's just, well, it's like, so I'm going to refer it to like the Mario thing, where the Mario movie was like grossly panned and like rated poorly, but the audience score was super high.
Right.
And it's like, the people watching these and reviewing these movies are not the demographic for these movies.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, so they should cater to everybody. Yes, but then also, like, those people reviewing it should also go into it with a mindset of that this is what this movie is.
Yeah, like
Correct.
I didn't rub against it anyway. I mean, like I didn't know any of the lore stuff, or I know of Five Nights at Freddys. Never played the game, though.
Yeah, same.
So I went in kind of not knowing anything. I don't feel like there was anything that kind of put it in the wrong place. Or I actually thought it was really done very well.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a few gripes, but I thought the characters were great. I thought what's the main guy's name?
Mike Schmidt? Josh Hutcherson?
John Hutcherson. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
And like,
He was so good.
yeah, and like the storyline with like him and his sister, I thought was so well done, and like him constantly trying to find the killer of his brother. Brutal.
Which, look at all these pieces that are parallels to what I was just talking about,
Yeah.
right? Now, his sister's name is Abby, an anagram for baby. Now, who were they trying to put her in to a Springlock suit of in the back?
It was a baby looking thing.
The baby animatronic.
Yeah.
So, and that the name of that game? Sister Location.
Okay.
So, I'm thinking they're not one for one,
Right.
but I think there's parallels here. And
Right.
also, Mike looking for his dead brother.
Right.
Another thing to keep in mind, they're not the Afton's kids.
I was gonna
Because
say, yeah.
Afton says Vanessa's his kid. Now, in the games, went down the road, second arc type thing, in the new era of Five Nights at Freddy's, Vanessa is... Yeah, grip it and rip it, Chad.
That's how we do the.
Hold on, we're going deep in lore. I gotta grip it away.
Yeah, we're gonna go on. But Vanessa is a new character in that open world security breach
Okay,
game.
so she is a character because I
Yes.
thought she was made up for the
She's
movie.
a security guard,
I thought so
but
too,
she's
yeah.
also a brainwashed puppet of William Afton. Once he like transfers his mind into like a digital data frame. It's a
Oh,
whole
wow.
separate thing. I'm not going to go into it here. You'll lose every follower you have. But it's fun like once you're with it, and it makes sense. It comes from like the VR game. They took old chips and parts from animatronics to save money and to get sound bits and stuff for this new game. And he like was in his animatronic suit. His soul was in it.
He lawnmower manned it.
He lawnmower. Yes, exactly. He
Oh.
lawnmower manned it.
See, you
Interesting.
just need to say something like that, and people get it.
That's it. That's it. He
Yeah.
lawnmower
Get it.
manned
Yeah.
it, and now he's like in the digital space. And now it's a very AI heavy story lore. But she is a security guard in that. But she's also, when she snaps it by his command, she's this psychopathic bunny that's trying to kill you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Interesting.
So
The yellow bunny that's in the.
well, she's like, she made her own outfit. She's like this white bunny, but this yellow bunny like lures you around in the VR game
Oh, okay.
to like make you do these things to like unleash him, unlock him.
interesting.
Oh, okay.
And the VR game is my favorite video game, by the way. It's the best. But back to the movie. So Vanessa's in it now. She came later, but they're using her, which is
I was a little off put by her character because it felt like they didn't know what to do with
Me
her.
too.
Like she was
Yeah.
like warning him, and then like she was flirting with him, and then like telling her, "Oh, we're gonna sit and make a fort and have fun." And then the next thing is like, "Don't bring your little sister." It was just it was
It was
she
kind of
all
all
over
over the place. Yeah, exactly. I also thought it was like, well, she kept complaining about what happened to these kids at Freddy's,
Right.
And it's like, well, if you only were in a position of power to do something about it, police officer.
Right.
I get what they were trying to do is that she probably became a police officer in order to
There's a lot of, like-
solve the murders
think it
or
was
protect people. Well,
solving.
more protect people.
I think
be
she's
more of a
protecting her
protector.
dad.
Yeah, I think it was more to
That's interesting,
clean up
'cause
I didn't think about
there was
that.
the whole crime of like
Oh, that's
the,
good,
the,
yeah.
the locals going in and getting all beat up and
Right.
killed, and she was like, the place got broken into, and then like there's no follow up about the.
Oh, that's
them
true. You're
dying
right.
or
You're
anything.
right.
Yeah.
Because-
Well,
and she already had known what happened. That's true. I never thought. Yeah, that's right.
I thought she was a fake cop. It was like she just
I
got the
thought
car,
so too.
That could have
and
been
maybe
it, yeah.
she was just her dad put her there to just keep an eye on the guard, and then whatever else that might happen.
I
there.
think eventually that facade would have been lifted if she was
Yeah.
fake. So
Yeah.
I think she might be.
No, I think she's a real cop. It's just
So-
you're right. She's probably
Because someone's got to
father.
cover up all those bodies.
Right.
And if
you
we're
know, that's a
talking
good point.
about parallels and how things are slightly different,
Right.
she's a security guard in the games, but if she's a cop in this, but still brainwashed,
Yeah.
Or
and
afraid of
whether
her
it's like
father,
brainwashed in a sense of like trauma, like very.
That's
Right.
what it felt like. Was like
Abuse.
she didn't want anyone else
Stockholm
going
syndrome.
in there. Yeah, but she wasn't doing anything really to stop anything.
Yes,
Right.
because it's like, well, it's the same way as like a victim can't stand up to their offender
Abuser, yeah.
sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
It's when you're traumatized, you were
Why
still
are you
that little
pointing at
kid.
Chad? It's
You were still that little kid, and remember that, Chad.
what?
You know. He wasn't listening. He's a million miles away drinking this Coke. But like, so I think that either she was on the inside to like protect some of his
Yeah.
stuff, also like to skirt some things for him.
because she had a lot of information by the end.
Well,
But
doesn't
if
it
you
have to
watch, she because when you watch it 4 times, you notice these things. When Mike's talking about his family, she's very wistful about
Yeah.
not having this family
Yes.
dynamic.
Yeah, yeah.
She only
She's like,
gets
"You at least have
mad
a sister."
when she starts to like him.
Well, doesn't Afton tell her at the end you had one job?
Yeah,
You know, remember that?
Yeah. Right.
And she
to
says,
keep him.
Keep him
Quiet.
away from
Quiet, yeah.
learning the truth.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy. I knew it was a video game. I knew it's a jump scare game. I've seen clips of it on YouTube. I'd never played it before.
Not a very jump scare heavy movie though.
No.
Right, exactly.
Which
yeah.
is very funny.
Yeah.
That's because I thought the
I thought
only
there'd be a
jump
lot
scare
more-
was a joke jump scare.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
2.
Balloon Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even like
There's 3.
Which
Those-
also.
There's all 3 were Balloon
Oh,
Boy.
and I'm not going to get into it.
No,
We'll be here
get
another
into
half
it.
an
Get
hour.
into it.
What is
weird.
this Balloon Boy thing? Anyway?
Okay, so how I was mentioning Five Nights at Freddy's, the way we know it from the first game, is not the first location, and how there were more technically advanced robots in the first and in earlier
right
iterations
the
of,
sister location.
and even before that.
Oh,
So,
Wow.
so
like the BioShock series.
I know.
Seriously.
So, in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the video game, they have these toy animatronics. They look like the old models of. Okay, so there's the
Is
Freddy's.
that where like the cupcake comes from?
No, the cupcake's from 1. So, okay,
Okay.
so the timeline that we think of it as is that there's this Five Nights at Freddy's like with Bonnie, Chica, all them, right?
Yeah.
And then that place burnt down mysteriously. And then there was that sister location with the clown animatronics, basically. Then there was these toy animatronics. I was like, look at the old versions, but new and shiny and bright and toys. But these were not possessed. They were programmed to attack older, like adults.
Oh, okay.
Because this was after everything was like once they realized that there was like something attacking these kids and these franchises, the co-creator created these animatronics to be like, find this guy, like find who's doing this during the night shifts type thing. So the toy animatronics are after you because they think you're the killer.
Right.
But if you put on a mask, they go away because they have face recognition. So there's scanning for faces. So if you put on an animatronic mask, they go away.
But those won't attack other animatronics?
No, they don't.
I see.
So they don't attack kids and animatronics. They only attack adults. So that's where we're at. We're at the old Freddy's
Right.
sister location. This toy Freddy's, right? And then
Yeah.
we get to the first game when they're like, we're gonna bring back so in that second game, in the back are the withered versions of the original characters. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. They're like broken apart in the back from the first location. They've been scavenged or something. So then they're like, we're going to refurbish these things and we're going to create Freddy Fazbear's again. Just like how you remember it, the old original. So they're repurposed with the older look. But they have the ghost children from the things
Right.
possessing them. So, but Balloon Boy was in that location previously with all the toy animatronics. So that's, once again, parallels.
Right.
So in the movie, we see Balloon Boy at this Five Nights at Freddy's location.
Right.
Which means those toy animatronics in this universe also happened before. Because why would Balloon Boy be there if his line of animatronics is not out yet?
Right.
So that must mean the toy animatronics
Are out there somewhere.
are out there somewhere.
Right.
So there's all this. See, but people see the Balloon Boy thing and they're
Right.
like, stupid jump scare.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I see it and I just spent 10 minutes explaining
Balloon Boy.
what that meant, you
Right.
know?
Interesting.
So it's
Yeah.
like, I get the hate sometimes, but like, but also like, if you do like this series,
Right.
it's a feast.
yeah, exactly. As like a lover of the lore, like when Balloon Boy pops up, like he does. Does that make you excited, or are you like, oh, well, they just put that in as like pandering?
They don't put anything in that doesn't mean anything in the series.
That's awesome.
Not anymore.
That's awesome.
Now, people are going by colors of people's clothes. They're looking for like objects they have on
Right.
them, looking for background stuff, looking for like color patterns, like how this looks like a 1980s digital game versus this 1990s digital game.
Ah.
And it's like, that's how they're trying to get timelines in here. That's why everyone saw these new animatronics and they were like, oh, this takes place after these new weird looking high-tech ones.
Is there a kid soul in the cupcake? Or is it?
I think that's also
Oh.
Chica,
Yeah.
Okay, so
which is a girl named Susie.
all right.
And once again, like, so, this is a theory. So when you find out later on in a different game by seeing this girl reflection playing this video game on an arcade, right? You're watching this happen, and then the game's getting slightly more graphic as you're playing, and then all of a sudden the little icon, it's like Pac-Man kind of,
Right.
But then the icon becomes a dog, but she's crying the whole time because she lost her dog. So now she's starting to see a dog in the game, and she's like getting emotional. But so she went to Freddy's because she was sad about her dog going missing. And then all of a sudden a yellow rabbit shows up in the reflection behind her, which we all know in the series is William Afton dressed in his Springlock suit. So all of a sudden the dog is becoming bloody on the screen and chasing it, and then he lures her away saying he can help her find the dog. So we think that maybe he killed the dog to bring her in, and that the dog is in the cupcake.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
And then she is in Chica, who is with the cupcake.
Right. That makes sense.
That's a theory.
Right.
Because the dog is shown being, like, killed on the screen.
Right.
It's not just shown...
And the cupcake doesn't talk. It doesn't, like, really show a lot of, like, emotion.
It just bites.
It just bites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bites, yeah.
It just bites. So that's what makes us think, like, the dog might be in that animatronic.
Oh.
But once again, like...
So
there's
not
no
all dogs go to heaven, is what you're saying.
But
Some
he's
going
staying
to-
behind to be with his girl.
Yeah, which is even
So,
nicer.
yeah. exactly.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know anything about Freddy's when I watched the movie, and I really liked it. I thought it had a lot of heart.
Yeah.
I thought it was well written. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be
Right.
something like Willy's Wonderland, which is the
Oh my
Nicolas
God.
Cage movie, which is kind of just, it knows what it is. That movie
I
knows
mean,
what
I
it is. It's
enjoyed
fun.
that for a whole different reason. I mean, that's
It's-
kind of what I thought Freddy's was going to be in terms
Exactly.
of scares and gore, and I mean, but
I thought it was just going to be goofy, fun,
Yeah.
like Willy's is,
Yeah.
but it has an actual story in it. It has. I was from the very get go. You find out this guy's kid brother was taken,
yeah.
most likely murdered, and you're like, holy shit! Like
Yeah.
this is serious. Like they're not really making a whole lot of fun about this.
Well, and I
This
thought
is-
it
it's
was interesting that she's his sister and not like daughter.
I thought it was his daughter at first as well.
Yeah, because of the age, and
Yeah.
then like, and how easy he is to like say, yeah, you can take her so I can find out who killed my brother,
right.
and then realizing like, oh, like I made a huge mistake doing that because if it was a daughter, he wouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
But if it's a sister, like he's been haunted by the death of his brother for so long.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'll give up one sibling to find out the truth about another,
Mhm.
and then the realization, the end of the movie being like, no, this is my family, and I need to protect her. And like I've spent this whole time looking backwards and not looking forward.
I like the part where he basically says that to his sister when he
Yeah.
rescues her, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, great, but we should probably get out of
Yeah,
here."
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, run, get out of there. You know,
I love
that's
that,
what I was thinking, yeah. I saw something in the movie, and I asked you about it, Dan, because Chad and I and you went to go see it together, and I saw it. Oh well, you know.
We'll go tonight after.
I saw it when I first saw it. I was like, is there something is there something wrong with the film or something? When he's talking to the kids in his dream, and some of their faces get blurred, and I was like, am I hallucinating, or is there something wrong? Because they never pointed out.
Lose focus.
Right, exactly. Right. So then I asked Dan about it, and what was it?
So the longer they're in these suits, the more they lose themselves. And they're losing their identities as kids, and they're just becoming these animatronics. So that's why in the first round you see like some of their faces flicker out. Later on, more of their faces flicker out. Yeah. It's because they're slowly losing themselves to this anger, and eventually they'll get lost.
What a great little detail! What a great little detail!
But you wouldn't know that.
Right? No, at all. And if you like looked away from the screen or blinked, you would miss it. You know,
it's that quick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how the game is, I would think. There's these small little details that if you're not paying attention, it'll go right by you.
I love, like, the storyline with the sister and how, you know, she's been drawing her invisible friends. And, like, everyone's been kind of just playing it off like whatever. And then you see them, and it's the kids from
the missing kids.
Yeah. Now, kids, and she's got this connection to them.
Now, that was the other thing I was going to ask you about. Is that, I'm sure they're going to go into more detail in other movies, but do we have any idea why she has this connection to these kids she's never met? And she's never even been at Freddy Fazbear's. How do we know that? Do we have an understanding of why she has a connection? Is she like psychic or something?
That one, I don't know. I think they left that open intentionally. Yeah. Because I feel like they are going to take us back for a prequel. And I think they're going to show you how the puppet is made. So at the end of the credits, there's a little Easter egg where this sort of animatronic voice, or like this speak and spell type of voice, spells out, "Come find me." And it's the same speak and spell voice that in one of the video games, that puppet I mentioned, one of the first dead animatronic spirit, that puppet uses that speak and spell thing to save it, and it says "save the children." And you see in like an 8-bit mini game, the puppets walking around with like the masks, and you have to put the masks on the dead kids in the back of the restaurant.
Jesus.
And then when they put the masks on, you see that they take over the animatronics. And it's
he's saving their souls.
He's saving the kids. Right. So
but trapping them.
But but I think that the excuse is like they don't go anywhere. They're like lost without. They have no guidance, and they just roam forever without this sort of thing. But in the games, they do eventually, if like you get a good ending to one of the games, they are released, and you see like them disappear, and the masks slowly float down. And then at the end, if you get the good ending, the masks show up on the screen, and all the lights are off in the eyes, meaning they're gone. But if you don't get the good ending, the lights are on in the eyes still, so you know that they're still stuck in there.
Oh shit.
So it's so cool. But once again, that speak and spell, that speak and spell is what the puppet uses in that Save the Kids game. And it says "Save the Kids," like in that, you know, speak and spell's the toy.
Do you think maybe it's the brother's soul?
So that's what we think. So we think that because it's going to be a prequel, it's going to show us where his brother was taken, and maybe the brother is going to be the puppet instead.
Interesting.
And that's why he's saying, "Come find me."
Right. Oh gosh.
So that's why I'm like, this is so cool. I love stuff like that. And like, it's similar to the games, but it's also its own thing. Right. But like, there's enough parallels where I can see like, you don't use that speak and spell thing and have it mean nothing.
Right.
It's a specific character that does this thing once in a game. And it's a very big moment, so you're like, you remember this stuff.
Right. And it's an excuse to have Matthew Lillard come back.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, he never goes away. Springtrap never dies.
And with the audience's reception of it, obviously it's going to get the sequels that it needs.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, even though the critics gave it not a great score you never go by
studios don't give a shit about critics.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
they really don't care.
regardless of any
They know
movie,
that's not going to go for an Oscar.
Yeah.
regardless of any movie, you want to go by the audience score and not the
Right.
critic score.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's like they're more in tune with you than the critic
Yeah.
is. So.
And also law of numbers. Like you're seeing a 23% for the critics out of like what 100 critics.
Yeah.
Right.
But then the audience scores thousands, hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of people.
Right.
And it's an 89 or something. You're like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, so audience score is on Rotten Tomatoes currently at 88%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
There
and
you go.
the
Yes.
critic score is at 29%, and at the audience rating is over 1,000, so well over 1,000.
And I'm sure
and
most,
the critic score is at 174. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Like
So-
law of numbers. You're
Sorry, you're gonna say, John?
oh no, I was just saying that I'm sure a majority of the critics have never played or even looked at
No,
the
no.
game
Of course not.
to even
Yeah,
know
of
the concept. So
course
it's
not,
just
yeah.
like, yeah,
And
of course
this-
they're gonna.
yeah.
react
this is
like
all I'll
that.
say, and then we can jump off or whatever. I know
No,
everyone's
it's-
half asleep.
No, I like.
The animatronics were done by the Jim Henson Creature Shop.
Yeah.
They are a 1-for-1 replica of the games, and I saw them in person, and it was like the coolest thing I got to do.
They're pretty dope.
And to see them on the screen, that's why like I went so many times.
Right.
It's just like I love this thing I was obsessed with for 9 years that like I just have devoured every morsel of. Now I can like see them moving in physical space.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's incredible to me. And what a studio could have done with this movie, we've seen Willy's Wonderland. We've seen
Yeah.
the Banana Splits movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
know
another one, yeah.
we know what these movies could have been.
Right.
So the fact that
They
we got
could've just CGI'd
this
everything.
movie,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why I'm like, oh, thank God.
How this isn't hot garbage, yeah.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah.
time I saw it with my wife, and she asked me how I liked it at the end, I was like, I don't know. Because I was so numb from being worried that it was going to suck the entire
You
time.
didn't get to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it was over, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I don't know how I feel about it because I was like, just staring at the screen, being like, "Are you good? Are you good? Are you
Right.
good?"
Well, and just stuff that they were able to do with those suits too. I mean, like
Oh
the
my
scene
God.
where
They
they're
look so
playing
good.
with the girl, when they're building the fort,
Yeah,
and you see them all kind of hanging out, and you really do feel like these just kids.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
And like,
absolutely.
and
Which
not
is
just
I love that
clunky
part. I love that
robots,
part,
you
and
know?
how they all lay down under it.
Yeah.
I love that part.
because
yeah.
that's
great.
there's a look. I don't know how you make an animatronic emote like this.
Yeah.
but
Yes.
there's a look where the daughter or the younger sister says they like drawings, and
Yeah.
Freddy like is looking down and looks up at him sadly, of like and it's like this look of like we're trapped in here,
Right.
Like,
Right.
can we have this? And like a kid wanting something,
Right.
I don't know how, but like it's because he's like looking down at the girl, and then his eyes like slowly go up as like can we please play?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
plays really
So
well.
sad,
And
yeah.
it's like you forget these kids were murdered
Right.
while they were at a Chuck E. Cheese, basically. Like they're forever tortured, and these little moments are like they're going after people that they think killed them.
Right.
They are also going after adults.
Because that's what they get told.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
don't know because also William Afton, their killer, dresses in an animatronic suit,
Right.
And they think of him as another animatronic that's
Right.
helping them.
yeah.
So when he says like, "Kids, look we got this other bad person here," that's the one that killed you,
Right.
basically, and that's why they're always attacking the adults.
Well, I thought that the way that Abby's able to turn the animatronics against Acton is that she draws a picture saying the yellow rabbit is
Yeah,
actually
the
not your
truth.
friend.
Yeah.
And then she posts it up, and then they remember.
Right.
I thought that when he took his helmet off, that's when they would look at him and be like, "I remember you, you son of a bitch," and that's when they would turn on him. That's what I thought was going to happen, and I thought they were kind of maybe tearing him apart. But I didn't know that.
But I do
the
think
spring
that-
locking system
Right.
and all that, which was a great way to end it.
Yeah, I had issues with the house murder when they decided to leave and they went after the ant.
Right. So can you explain what that is? That's
Okay,
Golden Freddy.
So, okay, Golden Freddy is my favorite animatronic, and in the games, he's the most mysterious character. So
He's the one that's all fucked up, right?
yes.
Right.
So 5 kids were killed, yet there's only 4 main characters in the Freddy's games. And then in the first Freddy's game, there's this random golden broken down Freddy suit crumpled on the floor that just pops up in your office sometimes, and then it will scream and shut down your game. and then flashes of "It's me" will pop up all over the screen,
Ugh.
which you also see the first night in the mirror in the movie.
Oh, right.
It says "It's me."
I saw that. I was wondering if that was an Easter egg.
Yeah. So that's Golden Freddy, and he's the blonde kid that is like the leader of the group in this movie.
Oh, that's him.
So-
right, because he's in the house, right?
Yeah. So, and that's why when she goes, Freddy, and he goes, not Freddy, because he's Golden Freddy.
Yeah.
And the difference is that the same way William Afton is in that yellow Bonnie suit,
Right.
Freddy
Is the
was
purple-
also yellow.
Mm.
And there was only Freddy and Bonnie in the first establishment. And there were just those two. And William Afton was Bonnie, and the co-creator was Freddy.
Mm.
So there was only 2 animatronics, and that's a broken down old suit from the first location.
Right. Okay.
But the thing about Golden Freddy is he's supernatural, and we don't understand how it works.
Right, because they say that they can't leave the establishment, right?
Right.
They make a point of like, no, they'll run out of juice if they leave.
Yeah, their batteries
past-
won't last
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, well, why? How is this one?
Well, and
taking a
he's
cab?
also physically he's also able to physically impact the cab when he sits down. The weight shifts.
He is and isn't there. He's Schrodinger's
Right.
Golden
Cat.
Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you'll also notice that when he is standing there in front of Freddy's at the end of the movie, and she looks back, he's gone. There's no
Right.
he can disappear. He can not be there. He can physically be there. We don't have his answer yet.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
That
We
makes
just-
more sense then, because they tried to set up a lot of lore in this movie.
Yes.
That's kind of the problem. Is like they've got a lot of road to lay. And then you put a character like that which doesn't obey any of the rules that they've set.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's frustrating. For
Yeah.
me, because I was like, I don't.
me too.
Welcome
I
to
don't
the
get it
fandom.
either. Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
all,
either.
it's all frustration.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
but just knowing to be frustrated.
I will
it's
say
okay.
the Golden Freddy, as we don't really know the laws of it, we do know that the series of Afton ends with him literally. It's Ultimate Custom Night with every single animatronic is literally Afton in hell with all the animatronics attacking him.
Oh, wow.
And it's only because that Golden Freddy at the end of the game, if you win, you see him twitching and just twitching around in the suit. It's because he didn't move on. He decided to stay just to torture Afton for all of time. So that's like the twitching in the suit is like symbolic of like, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And in this movie, when Afton's twitching in the back room dying, you see the blonde kid standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
He's closing the door on him.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, you're staying here, buddy.
Right.
And like, I'm
So
going to make
good.
sure you stay
Oh, okay.
here.
That was so good.
So it's sort of like a nod to that story arc. So I think they're going to explain what he is. If I was to watch this movie, I would be annoyed that he doesn't play by the rules.
Right.
But we also in the game world don't know his rules yet either.
Now, in the movie, did they imply that the kids moved on? Because we only see the blonde kid at the end. Did they move on? Do we have any
Not
idea?
yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, we don't see that. We
The
just
kid-
see the.
Yeah, we see the kid.
We see the restaurant, implode.
Imploding on it, but then the only kid we see at the end is the
Is the
blonde
blonde,
kid.
yeah.
we don't see. So I don't know if it's implying that they moved on or they're just kind of
I
biding their
don't think they
time,
closed. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they want to give a definitive answer until
Right.
Yeah.
a sequel
Right,
or
right.
something. But
Because they also might want to keep these animatronics if they're popular.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Josh Hutcherson that really brought everyone in.
well,
No.
that's what my next question is. If a sequel is going to happen, what do you want to see? Do you want to see any of those characters return? Obviously, the character Vanessa is in a coma at the end,
Yeah.
and it's like, do you carry on following that character and those characters, and maybe a second location, or do you do a prequel? Do you go back and find out more about the origins of it all? Like, where do you guys want to see this franchise going?
I think it would be nice to have a new movie moving forward in time, but with some sort of explanation of the past restaurants
Yeah.
to explain what happened, why these things exist.
Right.
How is it the kids are trapped in the suits?
Yeah, and like they're going to introduce the puppet. I'm sure of that in the next movie, which is from a different restaurant in the past. How do you explain that? You don't need, but we can't just have a prequel only,
Right.
because then we're not getting Josh Hutcherson's story arc.
Yeah.
But we do still need to know about his brother.
Yeah.
And if the brother's in the puppet, we need to get that story. So we need to do that little tightrope walk
Right.
of like new story, but you got to show us what happened.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking with Vanessa being in a coma, like maybe she has some kind of connection to the brother, like, you know, because
Yes.
like the
Dream theory.
exactly,
Yeah.
like the sister.
Oh, right.
You know, like maybe she can somehow reach back, and maybe you get flashbacks to
Yes.
those location kind of way.
So that we could follow the new story through Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike Schmidt. I'll just call him Mike. Damn, his last name is tripping me up. so we could follow the new storyline through Mike's.
By the way, was that an Easter egg in any way, the name? Because they don't mention his name till like the end of the movie.
It's okay. So this is what that is about. In the video game, when you get paid at the very end for doing Five Nights, you get a check made out to Mike Schmidt.
Oh, okay.
Michael Afton is the name of William Afton's son. So we think he changed his name.
Okay.
But,
All right.
So he's Mike Schmidt.
right.
Now, separately, in the movie, also another little Easter egg. In the other game, the prequel game, that's Five Nights at Freddys 2, that happened first, the guy's name is Fritz, right, on the check?
Okay.
Now, on the tape in the office, when Mike first pops in the VHS tape,
Right.
under the sticker that says Mike, you can see it says Fritz underneath.
No.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So
Wait, is he the security guard that
gets killed in the beginning.
Okay.
Ah.
Which was supposed to be played by Markiplier. But it was a scheduling issue. We couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's Fritz, which means the prequel happened. Another nod to the prequel.
Now, do you think it's possible that Mike is somehow they're going to do this in the movie, that he is Afton's son?
They could, but
You know,
Well, they mentioned
because-
he mentions his parents already. Like,
Yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. Like his mother could be having an affair or something like that. You know,
But I think
you know what I
I
mean.
think-
Like I think
I
it's a
love
stretch,
you, Wayne.
but do
So
you think?
I'm talking about the co-creator, right? It's not just William Afton. There's a co-creator named Henry, right? What I'm thinking is maybe Michael's dad is like
A co-creator.
the co-creator of it,
Interesting.
or
That would
some
make
sort of
sense.
tie-in with like Michael, where William Afton would have a reason to attack.
Well,
this
yeah,
family.
right.
Yeah,
that
why
would make
would
sense
he-
because
yeah,
why
why
would he
would
just
he go out?
target?
Why would you be there?
It's just a
Right.
random. He's in the woods.
Right.
Like yeah.
Why would you have your car ready to go
Right.
unless you knew that family was there?
That's true.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also,
and,
the
like,
tent that they're camping in is yellow. The frisbee that is thrown to distract Mike is yellow. It's a very triggering color for him. So the yellow rabbit at the end is just his trauma personified.
Right.
Wow.
That makes sense.
some deep
That
stuff.
See,
is
there's
deep.
so that's what I'm saying. It's like that. It's a feast for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen your murder board with the string
Oh,
theory
man.
all over
Oh,
the
yeah.
place. Like,
Yeah. Well,
it all connects.
I've always had a murder board, but this
Well,
one
yeah.
now just has some animatronics on
Yeah.
it.
So for some reason, Chad's name's at the top of it. Oh,
Yeah.
It's very strange.
hey,
He's all of it.
I rise to the top. Cream rises to the top. Always.
How did you like the introduction of the yellow rabbit? I thought it was great. It's creepy as
So
shit.
good, and I loved his voice modulator,
Yes.
where it's like this happy, fun clown type of high pitched
Right,
thing
yeah.
with this deep human voice underneath, and I'm like, it's so creepy, it's so cool. He's lumbering,
Yes, I love the way that
through the hallway.
He kind of like he had to kind of duck down to get through the door. But
Yeah.
also he was doing it on purpose to look intimidating.
yeah, he's terrifying.
and
Yeah.
it's like he's this
and
giant.
he didn't have to put his
animatronic
hand up,
suit.
you know,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like.
It's
Oh,
this
so good.
Frankenstein kind of moment.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
forget
So
those
good.
animatronic suits are huge,
Right.
right? So a human being in one, he's going to be really
Massive.
big,
Right.
Yeah.
So like the fact that he's like lurching in the doorway comes out, and
But
then
then the way he fights is
Just-
like a human. Not the others. They're animatronics. They're lumbering and they're kind of
Right.
They're slow.
like robot.
But he was just barreling into Mike.
because
Yeah.
think about that. So Mike is stopping the other animatronics by zapping them with a taser. It wouldn't work in real life, but
No, it wouldn't. That's not the way tasers work.
But it stops him in this movie. But our introduction is that Mike tases him, and he just swipes it away
Right.
and literally shoulder tackles him.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, this isn't what we're used
Yeah,
to.
Right.
runs at him and shoulder tackles him. Yeah.
Well, I mean the Foxy one with the hook.
He can run.
He can.
Foxy
run,
can
though.
run.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, but it was still a very well. We never see him actually run. It might have
Well,
been
no,
very,
like,
a
when
very
the
robotic.
The first guard, he's zooms at the door.
Yeah,
and
but it's
then-
just the camera zooming in on the.
Yeah, but that's
know.
obviously him zooming at him.
No,
Foxy's
fuck that.
famous
Yeah.
for running.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Because
it's an
in the
easy,
games,
cheap
he's
way
the
to
only
do
one
it.
that you see running down the hallway.
Foxy's
Especially
bitch. That's
he's the
what
only
fuck
one with his feet and legs are not covered. They're
That's
just,
true.
They're just
Yeah,
skinny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'd be able to move fast.
So there's also this other theory because, like, you know how all the animatronics I said were from the original and that they were refurbished? Foxy's wasn't finished yet. And that's why his has a sign on outside of Pirate's Cove that says "Sorry, out of order" because they didn't refurbish him yet. That's why he has all those holes and everything still in
Yeah,
him.
okay.
He's an old animatronic. They all are. So it's like little tidbits like that. That's why Foxy's legs are kind of missing, and they only
Right.
have the metal endoskeleton underneath. Also, in all the video games, there's a hidden endoskeleton that pops up in the background in hidden places. On the stage in one of the cameras, when Mike's checking them, you see a hidden endoskeleton pop up, and he's way in the back behind Chica, but you
What?
see his eyes glowing. And I was like,
Wild.
that's
I
so
didn't see
great.
that, yeah.
It's
But
like
the attention to detail that this director
So good, man.
the guy.
Yeah.
So Scott Cawthon, the creator, he loves this franchise. You
I would
you
hope
can
so,
tell.
yeah.
And this script went through 8 years of studio hell through
course.
different. It was at Warner Brothers and
Who released it finally? Was it
Blumhouse.
Oh, Blumhouse. So
Yeah.
through Universal.
yeah. So like this guy was like not settling for bullshit scripts, and
Right.
I forgot what platform he did it, but he was posting like some of the script ideas that were pitched to him, and you're like, if that movie was made, that's what my fear was like they're not going to do the story
Right.
or like a close assembly of the story. They're just going to do some bullshit with these characters,
Right.
like Freddy in space, and it's like, what the fuck? That means nothing. Like it's nice that like what people don't understand is how bad off the rails this could have been,
Right.
and the fact that we got what we got, I'm like super thrilled about.
Do you know the screenplay is by Scott Cawthon, Seth Kudabak, and Emma Tammy? Do you know if the other two are contributors to the video game at all? Do you know those names?
So I might be wrong on this. I might be wrong. I think they do the book series,
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah,
at least-
there is a book series.
or at
yeah.
least
Oh,
Emma.
that's right,
I
they
think
are, yeah.
sounds familiar with the book series. I think the other one might just be a screenwriter.
Yeah.
Emma sounds familiar with the book series. I might be wrong about that, but I read the books too. The books are so fucking clown shoes bad.
Really?
They're like a bad version of Goosebumps.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
But like they have like they're in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's,
Right.
but not this world of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
So everyone's like, do the books count as lore? It's like, no, but they count as parallels.
Right.
So if you're like, but if that can happen, if like, okay, so like they can do this in that world, it means they can kind of do this in this world, right? So people take stuff from that, and there's like original characters in the books, but like in the books there was a character called
you
the
don't want to
Mimic.
contradict anything that's
Exactly.
in the games
Yes.
and-
So it's like there's a character called the Mimic that mimics people's voices and then imitates this kid's dead son
God.
because he wanted to. Because that's what he did. He was a companion for the son, and when the son was murdered, he was still mimicking and walking around like the boy.
Jesus.
So they trapped him in a wall, and
Like you do.
now in the video game series, so there's never any connection to this character ever again. In the video game series, the newest release of Security Breach Ruin, it's like a DLC.
I want to play Security Beach though.
Security Beach is a fun game. You see like Chica and a thumb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'll get into
Freddy
that
gets
fandom
freaky.
after. But in this video game, this thing is luring you with the character from the first game's voice, and you do all this stuff, and you're like, "This is a red flag. Like that's not this character. He doesn't act like this." And then he's like, "Open the wall," and then
Right.
you open it, and this thing comes lumbering out, and it's the Mimic from the book.
Oh jeez.
Wow.
And you're like, "That's amazing." This
Yeah.
thing that like stands on its own, and also like little Easter eggs. Once again, this franchise in the story, it said there's these. The Mimic doesn't know what it is, so it puts on different like mascot costumes and clowns and crows and like all these circus outfits. And in the background of the video game, you see like mascot outfits
Multiple-
disheveled on the floor, and you're like, that's perfect. Like that's a little something that says like, oh, that's the Mimic. If you didn't know what this little look was, if this
Right.
because it's if you don't know what this like skeleton animatronic thing looks like, you will find out that like through like connection, like, oh, but there's those mascot costumes. It's the mimic. And then it chases you, and then there's like 6 endings. But like, it's so good. I love this series. It's like, it's the right amount of clown shoes for me.
Right. Yeah, I love it.
Have you read a lot of the books?
Oh man, I read too many of them.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't read this new series that came out. I think I had my limit. I just like I'll check in on recaps or something about them.
Makes sense.
But I can't read them anymore. But you can like read a book in like an afternoon. They're
Right.
They're
Are they
Goosebumps
more
books.
towards like young adults?
Absolutely.
Seems like, yeah.
Which is weird. I say that they are.
Because you're
This
bringing
whole-
up the lore, and it's like, this is some dark shit.
Yeah.
So that's what. Okay, this is my personal opinion. I would have. It was never going to be this, and it was never intended to be this. I would have loved to see an R-rated version
Right.
of this movie, just because in one scene it shows the intruders breaking into Freddy's, and
Yeah.
and everyone gets to do their cool kills. Like
Yeah,
Chica
yeah.
uses the cupcake. Bonnie is in the closet and like slams him against the
Oh,
door.
right, yeah.
And then Foxy charges him down a hallway. Freddy clamps the girl and bites her in half,
Right, yeah.
which is a nod to the son getting killed by being bitten in half in the game. But like, she's bitten in half.
Yeah.
That's very graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also the coolest fucking thing in the movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every audience member in
Guaranteed.
every theater I went to went, you know,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
we're watching this kids thing that's like generally
And it was
has been
kind of
safe.
done in silhouette. Like, it was done in shadow.
Yeah,
shadow.
but
Yeah, you see the
still,
shadow.
like,
But
Her
still,
body drops.
you
Yeah.
completely understand what happened.
Like,
And
you
there's
know-
blood.
well, then
and,
you see her
know,
later, and she's her torso
Yeah.
is leaning up against the wall.
Which
Yeah.
those are Easter eggs too. What
Yeah.
they put in them, because they say the kids are stuffed in the suits, right?
Right.
Right.
In the first game, one of the first theories was that like there was this hidden dog animatronic, the 5th animatronic before they found out about Golden Freddy and stuff. There's this dog animatronic, and if you do this thing right, he pops up. It's like such a playground thing. Never was real, right? But he was Sparky the dog. So at the restaurant in this movie, they're at Sparky's Diner. And it has a dog tag as its logo. But then you go in the back room, and Sparky the dog mascot is there. So they made him real
Oh, wow.
in this as like a nod to the fans of like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess he was in there. So that was like cool stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like, and also like it shows people being stuffed in the suits,
Right.
because it's like if it's about stuffing kids into animatronic suits, you kind of want to see like that's graphics hell. I want to see that, and it's like, oh yeah, they do. They stuff them in.
Yeah.
But like to go back to the R thing, like it was never going to be this, but it was like the coolest scene in the movie, and I would have loved to see like what else they came up with to like
Yeah.
make these kind of like very intimidating when they're in attack mode. Because then when they're sweet and like kids, you're like, what's going on here? Why are they like this?
Right.
And then it really sells William Afton's control over them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so there's definitely a tonal shift. I will definitely say like the weird tonal shift when Vanessa's like, or I'll shoot you. I was like,
Yeah.
that felt weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
It felt like there was a lot cut out of this movie. I mean, it's an hour and a half movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real, like,
I think they said it was supposed to be 3.
I
early
felt like
on.
there was a lot of stuff probably with her that got cut.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
Because her
Yeah,
character
true.
is just all over the place.
Yeah. And I think it's like she just wanted, the more she got to know him, the more she wanted him out of there.
Right.
So I think it was just like it was like the get away, you dumb dog, I don't even
Right,
love you
right.
anymore, like type of thing where it's like,
Sure.
go away, you idiot. But I think like because of the cuts and the stuff that was taken,
Right.
like it's just tonal shifts and it's weird. But otherwise, I mean,
Yeah.
I just love this franchise, man.
Yeah. No, it was a really well done film and yet again, we've seen what it could have been.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And the fact that they took the
Right.
time and waited for these other versions of this, because like when Banana Splits was
Yes.
talked about, or Willie's, you're just like, oh, they're just doing that thing, but doing it, and
It's funny because everyone was like, "Oh, they're doing a Five Nights at Freddys movie,"
Right.
And they
Yeah.
came out years before a Five Nights at Freddys
Yeah.
movie existed,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
everyone knew that they were
everyone knew the
ripoffs.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's good for them for waiting and doing it right.
exactly.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And then also because in Willie's and Banana Splits, they are humans in mascot costumes fighting, right? And they're supposed to be animatronics, and they have like choo 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 tuned in after. In this movie, they have real animatronics, but they also have people in suits. But when they're in suits, they still look like they're animatronics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to see some of the behind the scenes footage of, because obviously I'm thinking there's probably some CGI tinkering to kind of make the suits look a little better.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I don't know. They look just like that. And then like you even see like them walking like, I think when like Chica's walking the girl to the back at the end, like you can see her legs and like she's stiff and like I'm like, yeah, it's like a human in there, but it doesn't look like a mascot outfit.
Right,
it looks like the
It doesn't look
animatronic
animatronic
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, all credit goes to Henson and their people. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
I'm so happy they did it.
a lot of other companies would have gone cheaper.
They would have. That's the other problem. Warner Brothers wanted to do it cheap.
Or they would have CGI the shit out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Blumhouse is known for doing things on the cheap, but quality.
Yeah.
So also, we don't see like the animatronics like physically attacking the people.
Right.
And there's a pro and a con to this. The con is that I would have loved to see like the animatronics like physically like do something instead of like the spirits of them like attacking is like the metaphor that they're being attacked and killed right now.
Yeah.
But it's also good because we got all practical.
Yeah.
So we didn't see a CGI version of like Bonnie raising his guitar up and slamming it down, or you know what I mean? Like we didn't see like an ugly CGI thing happening.
But I do feel they probably only like one of each. I was like, they're not very dirty. Like no one gets like blood splattered on them or anything.
Yes.
Like they're very clean by the end.
I mean, I like the subtleness of it. Like, I didn't even realize it was a PG-13 until after I'd seen the movie.
Yeah.
Because it makes it even more creepy. Because sometimes even when you, like, let's say it was rated R, right? And it goes gore and extreme. And after a while, you're just like,
well, and
it gets a little, because
know their audience. They know who's going to come
Exactly.
watch it.
You go to the kids aisle and it's all Five Nights at Freddys.
Yeah.
Murdered children.
Right.
And a Chuck E. Cheese. And like it's every toy. But like, so if it was rated R, it couldn't be like a, I forgot the horror guy's name. Eli Roth. It couldn't be like an Eli Roth rated R.
Right.
It would have to be the same exact thing, but show a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
That's all you'd be doing. Yeah.
that's all I would want is just like, or maybe get like just one more scene of like these things are dangerous.
Yeah.
Like that's all I would kind of want,
Right,
but I'd want
right.
the story to stay the same.
Yeah.
No, I thought the story, they nailed it. They nailed the story. The screenplay was great. I don't understand the hate from the critics. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy. Check it out.
Yeah. It's on Peacock. It's
yeah.
streaming. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I saw it twice and I enjoyed it both times. Very much so.
And then if you want, you can come to my house and I'll point out every single fucking thing.
He'll stop the movie every 2
come
seconds.
and see Dan's murder board. And,
Yes.
Or watch him play the game.
Yeah.
My wife was very upset that when I got home and I was like, you have to see this. I have to explain what I saw.
She's not a fan of the franchise? Or?
She actually loves it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you sat her down for like 12 hours.
So I was watching stuff and she was like, what is this? And like, it was at first, it was like she was in the room.
Right.
And then she got interested. And now it's just like, she's like, oh my God, is Shadow Bonnie actually the... You're like,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got you now.
It's like fantasy true crime.
Yeah, it honestly, it is. It's my true crime.
Dan had his birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese
Yeah, he
with
did.
Five Nights at Freddy
Theme kind of thing
stuff
going
on.
going on. Yeah, and I had never been in I've never been in a Chuck E. Cheese, so thankfully I was never. Hence, I was never murdered.
Did you hear
Chuck
we
E.
saved
Cheese.
that Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
And I will take full credit.
You
I will
should.
take full
Yeah,
credit.
explain. What are you talking about?
In the Northridge, California Chuck E. Cheese, they still have the 90s versions of the animatronics there.
Yes.
They're one of... There's only a few kind of places that still have these animatronics.
The original stuff.
In working order, at least. But they were going to tear them down for the new Chuck E. Cheese remodel that everyone else is doing with like just a dance floor and it's like screens and screens. And
No
screens.
animatronics. It's just like
Yeah,
video.
they're gonna gut the animatronics out. My friends, and we've gone there so many times in large numbers, spent lots of money, and
You made it profitable.
and we were also respectful, and we were not adults fucking around and like being jerks and making a mess and ruining things.
Yeah.
We were having fun in the venue
Yep.
and being legit about it.
Yeah.
And they loved us there. We got to meet the managers and stuff because
Yeah.
they were like, you guys are so respectful and like, we love having you here. And now the official Chuck E. Cheese announced that they're going to keep the animatronics now.
Yay.
Like they're going to be their residency band for the rest of time.
Nice.
And the fact that like they survived this remodel right after we had these things going on, I'm like, there's no other explanation.
Right.
Like the kids aren't clamoring for this place.
Right.
Like this, and who else has like 50-person parties?
Yeah.
And you
I
also
will
said
say,
said that they took down the original '90s posters because they're doing the remodel, but they're going to put them back up.
They're coming back.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Which
Nice.
this Friday.
Friday,
So when
Friday.
this is coming out on sometime.
It's coming out tonight.
Yeah. So Monday, let's say.
So Friday the kids, get out your calendars. Friday the 10th. Friday November
that in my
10th
handwriting.
in Northridge, California. They are reopening the new version of Chuck E. Cheese with the old animatronics and the
shit.
old posters.
And
They're
Dan
do-
will be there.
Dan will be there.
First in line.
now I don't know if I want to be doxxed like that, but
I mean, you might be there the next
I
day.
might be there
Yeah.
one of those days. But
You're the only adult there.
yeah. Go support it. They are super nice there, and definitely check it out.
All right. Yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
my kid, since we went for your party, has been wanting to go back. So
Hey, let's
there
do
you
it.
go.
I had never been to Chuck E. Cheese until that day.
Oh.
Yeah, I never got to
Same.
go as a kid. Like I said, that's why I was never murdered. But,
Well,
that's right.
Yeah.
You're lost.
Yeah, I know. I could have ended up in an animatronic suit. God damn it.
Oh
Live
man,
forever.
I would love that.
I don't think you would, actually.
Well,
I don't think you
don't,
would.
have to-
don't speak for me.
Just be stuck there.
Because that's the thing. They're not mobile like the suits in Freddy.
Yeah,
You'd be
exactly.
stuck in that one position,
Yeah.
dancing for the
yeah,
rest of
just to
eternity.
pull up my ass. I'd be, you know what? I'd be so fucking unlucky. I'd be Pasquale or some shit. And I'd be Pasquale for the rest of my life.
Like, ah, man.
Oh, jeez.
Did you guys ever see that Facebook commercial, the Facebook VR commercial of the knockoff Chuck E. Cheese place that? So in the commercial, it's actually very touching. Facebook did a good job with it. It's a Chuck E. Cheese in the '80s esque with animatronic characters, and they're up on stage performing. And then the entire commercial, you know what I'm talking about?
Wait, I remember this
The
now,
commercial
yes.
is moving through the '80s, through the '90s,
Yeah.
through the 2000s,
Yeah.
and little by little, the
They're
place
seeing the
begins
kids,
to
yeah.
seeing the kids go away, and
Yeah.
the place is falling apart. So they all get thrown in the dump, and they get separated. And little by little, one of the main animatronic, the Chuck E. Cheese type character, is like falling apart more and more in the junkyard. But he's sentient, so he knows what's going on. But he obviously can't move, and just as about to be crushed, somebody saves him. And then at the end, they're all saved in different museums and private collections, and they're all using the Facebook
VR,
VR to reconnect with
That's
each other.
gonna make me cry.
Can
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I can't believe you haven't seen this.
No.
It actually
I
it's
don't
it's
think
actually
social
very
me-
emotional.
It's a
My
touching-
social media is nothing
Yeah.
but Garfield and Sonic.
Yeah,
feet.
it's actually
So, like,
it's actually very emotional. And at the end, because the original song was "Don't You Forget About Me," from
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
So and then at the end, they're all jamming out using the VR, reconnecting with each other with that song in the background playing.
That's cool.
It's so it's
I
it's
wanna
a very
see
yeah, it's
that.
we'll watch it after this. It's
Okay,
a very touching.
yes.
It's very touching.
Yeah, I follow like all the Showbiz Pizza animatronics. I follow collectors that recreate their own
Wow.
revisions
cool.
of the original stages, and like they find the original soundboards and
Wow.
stuff and play
Pe-
the tapes.
People
and-
have these like at their homes.
yeah,
Really?
There's a lot of collectors.
They're gonna
Man,
get killed.
there's
They're gonna
groups
get
for
killed.
everything, man.
When we thought this was going under the Northridge one, I put in an offer for Mr. Munch. I'm
Did
not
you
going to
really?
say how much.
Just say how much.
I'm not going to say how
Just
much.
say how much.
Do it. Say it.
It's, like, it's about $7,000, but I needed to own Mr. Munch,
When Mitchell Munch is which one again?
the purple
purple
fuzzy one
monster,
that plays guitar.
They definitely want to give
keyboard.
it to you for that. Yeah, they definitely want to give it to you.
They were like, we were just going to
I was
throw it
like-
out back.
I was
Yeah,
like,
which like you could have gotten it for free.
I was like, I will pay you this much. You give me a call when they're about to take them off the truck.
All of a sudden, Dan's house is just being haunted by Mr. Munch. If he moves to a different spot every night,
Oh my god. No, I'd wear it. I'd go inside those gears and stuff.
As the spring cage is locking around you.
And then the last thing you see is a giant smile on my face and goes, yes.
As you're twitching in your garage.
I'm like,
and Tiffany's like closing the door on you.
Yeah. Just staring at me. I got you now. You till death do us part, you son of a bitch.
With that being said, bodies.
Yeah, speaking of
bodies, yes.
Fantasy true crime.
Yes.
So I watched the first episode of Netflix show Bodies. It's based on a Vertigo DC book from a few years back. It is phenomenal, like so good. Like it is like crack of a show where I wanted to jump into the second episode.
What's it about? Give us a synopsis.
So Bodies it's set in London. In 4 different time periods.
Interesting.
So it starts off in 2023.
Okay.
You follow a detective as she finds a body, as the title says, in an alleyway. It's a naked man who has been shot in the eye, and and it's her trying to solve that crime. Then it jumps to 1941, and so you find a detective in 1941 who finds a naked man in an alley. The same naked man in an alley.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then it jumps to 1891, and you follow a detective who finds a body in the alley. The same body with the same wound. And you see these detectives in different time periods, trying to figure out who this person is, how they were murdered, and and what is the connection. It's pretty good. And just like seeing like how they perform an autopsy in 1891 versus like today where they're doing an MRI to look at the body.
That sounds amazing.
It's awesome.
Now, is it a like an episodic case by case?
Yes. I mean, I've only seen the pilot episode. I wanted to watch the second one, but I'm old and I fell asleep. And from what I've gathered, it's episodic, dealing with this case and this investigation.
So just the one case.
I believe so.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Maybe it's like a time traveling Jack the Ripper.
It could be. And there's a lot of twists and turns. I don't want to spoil anything.
So you think these worlds are going to mix at some point?
There seems to be some interesting connections happening.
Very cool.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Lost. Like there was a lot of
which season?
I'd say 3.
Okay.
No,
Smoke Monster, right?
Yeah. No, but there was a lot of like cool, like, oh, I can see where they're gonna go with this, and then they go left, and you go, oh, okay, they're doing this.
I love that.
Yeah, and each detective is very unique the way they do it, and who they are as people. I mean, they delve really deep into who they are, and especially for these time periods and stuff, and how they deal with crime. It's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so great. If there's any chance it's going to turn into time travel, I can get my wife on board.
I mean, it definitely feels that way. There's definitely some kind of interesting cabal involved. It looks cool.
Now, is it mainly based in the United States, or is it like
No, it's all based in London.
London.
It's all
Okay.
England, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
That's why he likes it.
Listen, there's a reason why quality television comes from the
God save the king.
Are we only going to get 3 episodes?
Look, the American version would just be everyone shoots everyone. And,
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Well, how do you think he lost his eye?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Not a billy club.
Awesome.
The American way.
We had a couple trailers come out recently that we'd like to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just go through the list. I mean, there's not that many of them.
Huge trailer drops this week.
Yeah, man. We just watched Shogun, which is, I guess, a remake of the original 1970 miniseries that came out a couple years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, what's his name?
The star of it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a remake of that miniseries. What do you guys think? It looked.
It looks amazing.
AMC's putting it on, which AMC never disappoints.
I thought it was Hulu.
I thought I saw AMC on FX.
No, it's FX.
FX. You're right. Yeah.
FX.
With FX doesn't mess around.
Which
FX does not mess around.
To think of like FX was that television station that you'd watch It's Always Sunny and 18 episodes of The Simpsons would be on there.
That was all they had.
Yeah, and now they're doing this amazing quality television.
Now they can do their own shows.
Well, Richard Chamberlain was the 1980 miniseries. And yeah, I mean, it's about a Westerner caught up in the power struggles of the feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does. I get a lot of. I don't know if you guys saw Silence, the
Martin
Scorsese movie set in Japan during the time of feudal war and the Catholics coming in. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that movie's intense, but
Yeah, it
I
is.
definitely got vibes of that.
I saw Ninja Turtles 3. Is it
That's
roughly
close.
the same?
That's about the same.
sort
It's
of,
about the
you
same.
know.
It's about the
Although,
same. It's basically a documentary
Yeah.
of Japanese history.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's cool that like they have the Western influence in this as well, because like Westerns were basically just samurai films, just like the
Right.
American version.
Based on
of
Kira
them.
Kurosawa's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's cool that like we'll see these things sort of mix,
Right.
like
Yeah.
thematically at least.
Yeah, and it looks expensive. It looks like
Oh, it looks very expensive.
Amazing
Yeah.
actors in there. I mean, and just
I can always
gorgeous.
tell because trailers rarely sell me.
Mhm.
Like I'm just not. I don't know what's wrong with
Right.
me. But this one looked so good where I was like, I would actually watch this.
Yeah.
Which is like a high praise.
Yeah,
Because nothing gets
it's
me to watch
movie
TV.
quality.
I just watched Game Grumps all day.
And Five Nights at Freddys.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's lore and Game Grumps. I'm sick and sad, and my wife is leaving me.
But
baby, come back.
I wonder.
As you're wearing the animatronic suit.
I wonder what the
I spent
actual.
$7,000 on this.
Now will you love me?
It's built for hugs.
You
Hey.
did what?
Call me Mr. Munch from now on. Sorry, Mister's my father. You can call me Munch.
Munchy Munchers.
Oh god.
Sorry, Chad, we interrupted you.
Sorry,
6
Oh
Chad.
no,
seconds.
that's fine.
know
Probably
it
wasn't unimportant anyway. But yeah, no, I was just wondering what the exact period the show takes place
Right.
in, because like if it's around like the Nobunaga era and stuff, like, which would be very interesting, where they're trying to unite all of Japan, or if it's already united, or
Right.
like where it's at. So
It looks like it takes place somewhere in like the 1700s. It seems.
yeah, I mean they're obviously not using firearms, or what did they have? No,
I don't think
the Japanese soldiers didn't have
no.
firearms. Yeah, no. So yeah, okay.
And
Well-
but you see the Westerners, I believe they have
Bring-
muskets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
a lot of
muskets
them
and
didn't
stuff.
because they wanted to. They at the time Japan was keeping a lot of the Western influence out.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God, Ninja Turtles 3, guys! What is this? Just a
It is
Ninja
just
Turtles
Ninja
3
Turtles
movie?
3.
I mean, it's an updated
I mean,
version without the turtles.
What a great reveal if it was Ninja Turtles.
It's like
3
a
as
secret
remake.
spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the middle of this epic movie.
Then
Only,
it's this beautiful FX, really expensive thing, and then all of a sudden they pull out a scroll,
Right.
and it has the turtles drawn on it.
but they use the same suit
The
from the
prophecy.
from
Oh
the
my
third
God!
movie.
But like the same ones
Right,
from
right, exactly.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
where it's like
Oh my
they're
God.
just they're withered and
Decomposing.
decomposed.
And then the Time Scepter is actually one of the. Is it a pagoda? Is that the name of the type of building?
Oh yeah.
I think that I could be just fudging that completely, but I built one in art class.
You
one time,
sounded
so
confident.
I'm gonna go with pagoda, but you know what? Send the hate mail to me.
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah.
wrong on those architecture. Okay.
Have you guys seen what happened to Hoggle from Labyrinth?
No.
They discovered him.
Oh, the suit.
The Hoggle suit. They found
boy.
it.
Oh.
So
Oh god.
Is it
Is
just
he
nightmare
a-
fuel now?
it's nightmare fuel, but do you want to know how they found it? This Hoggle suit from Labyrinth, David Bowie's Labyrinth, went missing. No one could find this suit, and it was a huge industry mystery where the Hoggle suit could possibly be. They just assumed someone stole it, right? Cut to 30 years later, 40s
Right.
maybe?
40
years
Yeah.
later, and there's a business that if there's unclaimed luggage at an airport after the expired time goes by,
Right.
they can legally sell it
Right.
as like thrift stuff.
Yeah.
They can open it and sell it. They opened it up and found the decomposed Hoggle inside.
This was just sitting in a suitcase.
It was just in a suitcase. It was probably getting transported to, they think, a London museum
Wow.
for one of their tours,
And
and it
just-
got lost.
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to find it again because it was back then.
That's amazing.
I'm looking at the picture now. It looks like
Post this
it
on
just
the Instagram.
yeah. It just looks
Yeah.
like a mummified skull with blue eyes.
and his teeth, because he had
Yeah.
those big blue eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like bulging out of the head with his teeth exposed. It's like,
this is why we're going to start our sister podcast, Where the Hoggle At.
Where the Hoggle At.
Where we just discover, we talk about this case for a while.
I mean, can you
Hoggle's
imagine?
gotta eat.
Can you imagine the heart attack those people had that opened up that
God.
that suitcase and
you don't know
saw
what
this
that
thing
is.
staring at you?
You just think it's a dead
Just
body.
look up Hoggle's suit labyrinth on Google and you'll see what I mean.
Don't do that. You don't have to,
if you
because
wanna
you
get
can
nightmares
follow
from it,
us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And by us, I mean I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You can follow them on
We'll
Instagram.
post it on our Instagram
Yeah,
for
we will.
sure.
We will.
It was probably taken like the Thomas Crown Affair painting, and he just lost track.
Someone's like,
track
this
of it. He's
belongs
like,
in a museum.
Now we're just going to find David Bowie's codpiece somewhere from Labyrinth.
I'm sure
Then we can clone it.
someone owns
Yes,
it.
we can.
Yeah.
And then Echo, the trailer for Echo dropped a little while ago.
dropped.
Echo, that's a show that everybody's kind of like,
Everyone's just like Daredevil.
It's getting a lot. I mean,
It's
I
getting
think the
good buzz right now.
the
after
now
the
it is
trailer.
because the
Great.
trailer looked great.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
trailer looked like a Netflix show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
actually.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, because
Exactly.
they're taking this character that was in the Hawkeye show, and kind of because Echo, that's where,
Yeah.
right, and like,
Mhm.
and then trying to like build a show around her. It's hard because it's like, do you go with that tone? Because that show was very interesting, tonally. Like
Right.
it was kind of more tongue in cheek.
It's like a Christmas special.
Yeah,
almost.
it was very
Right,
like
right.
Lethal Weapon or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're really kind of trying to fit it into that Netflix vibe, which I dig.
Which
Yeah,
is
no.
good idea because
Those were
Disney has been making pretty bad decisions lately on their shows
Yeah.
and hurting from it now.
So I hope it's good. Or either that, someone just cut a hell of a good trailer.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
kind of excited about? Echo, don't at me. Echo is a relatively unknown character.
Yeah,
She doesn't have a big following and
No.
a lot of lore to her.
No.
Like they can do amazing things with this character that's going to be pretty fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
And like let us into the world through her.
yeah.
I think that's really interesting opposed to like us coming through something we have expectations for. I'm excited to see what they do with her.
Well, I heard
Also,
they.
oh, sorry, Chad. I love interrupting you.
I know.
When you talk, I just can't
I
stand
mean,
it.
you interrupt everybody, but I'm not gonna get at that.
Yeah, but I like it when I do it to you.
Well, but I heard Echo had some of the writers or people from the Netflix Daredevil.
Oh,
anyway.
great.
That's
Okay.
So
That
that's
makes
why
sense.
it probably has
Yeah.
that feel
Yeah.
to it. So
Yeah.
I love D'Onofrio's back as
D'Onofrio,
Kingpin.
yes.
Yeah.
And they give him some, like, at least in the trailer, there's some great scenes of him just with her and I feel that gravitas. Like, he was in Hawkeye, but it was kind of played as a joke. They put him in the
Of
Hawaiian
course.
shirt and
Yeah.
like they made him such a bruiser.
yeah.
But
well, they made Hawkeye the joke in that as well.
Yeah.
So
Also,
Well,
the deaf representation.
yeah.
yeah.
And seeing characters with disabilities being superheroes is super important
Yeah.
for this.
I
Absolutely.
did read that they've changed her power set a little bit. In the comic books, Echo is more like kind of like Taskmaster. Like
Yeah, mimic.
she can mimic
Yeah.
whatever fight, and I think they're trying to stay away from that. for
They're
this.
I think they're drawing it from ancestral abilities or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But I just
like
if-
Killers of the Flower Moon is so hot right now. We got to go. with it.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, although I think that was probably already made before.
Yes,
It was- yeah.
But it's been on the shelf for so long.
True.
Like, the show has been
They
on
could
the
have
shelf. and-
reshot
and they're all
it.
dropping it at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have a lot of confidence it's going to do well. But I mean, the trailer, maybe it'll bring it around.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And the fact that with Daredevil rebooting itself again, again, but they're getting the
Reborn again.
Punisher showrunner to helmet, so
nice.
it should follow suit. I was like, why don't you get I mean, like, if anything, why didn't you have Daredevil Reborn Again? The writers talk with the Echo people because
Right.
they're the same universe,
Yeah.
same characters.
Yeah.
He's in the trailer.
But
Right.
but the fact that they just like, oh no, we'll cancel the 8 episodes we did, and they didn't really connect with Echo at all. Is that the
Right. I don't know.
So I kind of wonder what was the case.
It's like the
but-
Batgirl movie. I would love to see whatever footage is out there.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be awesome.
Isn't it nice that we have Charlie Cox and
God
that
bless.
team
Yeah.
back?
Yeah.
Like they didn't get rid of them,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
they could have.
They could have. For
They
sure.
could've.
They could have easily got rid of them. and said,
Recast
these
and-
Netflix
yeah.
things have nothing to do with us. We're doing our own world.
Mhm.
But they kept them, and Like, that's cool. That was a really good move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't see anybody else playing Kingpin. So
Right,
He's perfect.
He's
if he
amazing for it.
if he asks for a glass of sugar water, I'm going to lose it.
that'd be awesome.
I just
if
wink
they
to
did a
the
little-
camera and go, "That's for Dan."
Or there's a cockroach that crawls on the table and he slams
it.
Yes.
You know, that'd be fun.
Yeah, he's played two pretty iconic roles now. I mean, he was he was Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah,
Now he's
yeah.
Kingpin. I mean, those are two massive
I just
iconic
rewatched
roles.
that.
Did we
His-
not just say Edgar?
Yeah,
I mean, Edgar, that
Yeah.
He's great.
Farouche.
Yeah. What's so funny about that was he filmed Full Metal Jacket with Kubrick, and he gained a ton of weight for that role.
right.
And then dropped it all and was in Adventures of Babysitting as Thor.
Oh yeah,
Those movies both came out in the same year.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah.
You would never.
You wouldn't
Never
put
thought
those two
that.
guys
Yeah,
together.
I just found out about that a little while ago too. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
We
It's
were
crazy.
watching Babysitting, and I was like, "What? Who's this? He looks so
Yeah.
familiar. Well, who is this?" And
muscular
then,
blonde dude.
and then I heard him talk, and I was like, "Is that Vincent D'Onofrio?"
Yeah.
And then like Tiffany was like,
So wild.
Tiffany's like, no, that's not. Like, no, of course not. Because like it's the same year as Full Metal.
Right.
yeah.
Man, he looks so good.
Yeah.
And just watching Full Metal, I watched the scene where he commits suicide, and then he's just that dead eye stare he has is just it's so creepy. I mean, it sticks with
He
you.
calls back on that for The Cell with J-Lo.
The Cell's a great.
Oh, so that's right.
Yeah, it took a second viewing for me to like it a little bit, but the first one I was like, this is a little too bonkers for me.
I love the visuals though.
No, the visuals
The
were
visuals
yeah.
are amazing. Yeah.
But also his role in the movie with it's about writers with all-star cast with Whoopi Goldberg and oh my god, I'm blanking, Tim Robbins, where he Vincent D'Onofrio's character gets killed because he's threatening him about a script that was I think it's called The Playwright. I forget the name. I'm blanking on the name, but it's a classic 80s film.
The Player.
The player.
The Player.
Right.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
we go. Wow.
I've never seen that
That's
movie.
a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
And he did a great job with that.
It's a D'Onofrio, man.
He just never fails.
keep going.
Even
Nope.
in Law and Order.
Criminal.
Me and my roommates used to love that show.
There's a little head tilt.
Yeah,
I always love it.
It was just like his version of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a great career, man. And then we just saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Which is the other
Another
trailer that
Apes,
dropped.
baby.
Maybe that's our next marathon.
Yeah, we
Let's
should.
do that.
Those
Dan has
movies-
not watched any of the movies.
I'm telling you, those
they look good though.
That trilogy, the latest one, is low key amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Dan doesn't like monkeys, though.
Wow.
No.
I'm just saying.
Terrible.
You never really go to the zoo.
I mean, look, be a human or don't. Get off. Just pick one.
well, that's this whole story. This whole trilogy of
Yeah.
movies is
Pick
you
a
know,
side.
They try. They try
Right.
to go for peace, and then the humans are the
Did
ones.
you guys ever watch the
dicks.
originals? The
Yeah,
original
yeah.
five,
No,
five
I've seen
movies?
clips.
I love
Love
those
those.
movies.
I've
Yeah,
seen the
I love
original
those movies.
first one.
Yeah.
But the main introduction to Planet of the the original stuff is through The Simpsons with
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr.
Dr.
Seuss,
Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. Yeah.
It looks
They
like
did it.
in the new trailer. It looks like we get a little Seuss.
Yeah.
We get an orangutan.
But
in the new
the
one.
actual my first Planet of the Apes movie was the Tim Burton one that no one
Right with
Oh, with
my God.
Marky
Tim
Mark.
Roth.
Yeah, Mark
is,
Wahlberg.
yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's in there. Yeah.
But I will
Bunch of
say,
apes.
Tim Roth fucking sold that movie
As a chimp?
Thade, yeah, his evil chimp Prince Ruler
Yeah.
character.
Well,
So
and they
good, so
actually
good.
had like they put the
That was all
makeup on.
prosthetic.
yeah, it was
people.
all
The
prosthetic.
cool thing they had him
Michael
do
Clark
like
Duncan.
I watched a behind the scenes brief video on it, and they actually had the actors like practicing how apes would reach for things. So they reach for something like I think orangutans like turning their hand upside down as they reach for something. So they're having like
little
actors
things.
do things like that. Yeah,
With
which
Paul
is pretty
Giamatti
interesting. Yeah,
as an orangutan.
that's
And
right.
Helen Bonham Carter, right, is in the.
Helen
Yeah,
Bonham Carter.
that's
Well,
where
of
they-
course, it was.
That's where they started their.
That's where
love
and
affair.
Lisa Marie, his current girlfriend,
yeah.
wife, was there when he kind of cheated.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Oh, way to dig that up, Trent.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
seriously.
Tim.
Oh, real
Looks
drama
like you
queen.
should have kept
Who's
the pumpkin in the patch.
Excuse me.
What?
He's dating someone new now, Tim Burton. He's got some. new
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Wednesday Adams or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. No, I don't know.
And so that trailer looks great. I mean, it's a great series. It's a kind of a really tragic series as well. Like especially the first movie.
Yeah.
I think one of the saddest parts of the first movie is when what's the name of the ape? Caesar.
Yeah.
Remember they take him away and he like draws the window on the wall and like puts his face up against it because he misses home. And
Yeah,
just,
John
man.
Lithgow does an amazing job.
John
yeah.
Lithgow's so good
film.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching and going like, this movie would be great if James Franco wasn't in it.
I say that often.
He's very just phoning it in through that film.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I've seen all the remakes of the series, and I like them all. They're so
Dan,
good,
the second one.
Yeah.
I think the first 20 minutes of that movie has no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just the apes, and it's gorgeous. It's so good.
Yeah, and of course, it's humans constantly fucking shit up through their own hubris and greed.
and
My kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, check it. I'm definitely gonna check it out. And then we recently had the Fall Guy that dropped as well, which is a remake of the late 70s, early 80s TV show. Yeah, which had that great theme song that we were just talking about earlier.
Why don't you guys sing a little bit?
How does it go?
We don't want to get demonetized.
I can leap from a tall window. I can something. Yeah. All right. The Fall Guy was interesting because he played a stunt man who would always get involved in like local investigations.
It was very Rockford Files,
right?
Or, that kind
Heart
of deal.
to Heart.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was in that frame. There was so many of those shows in the 80s.
Yeah, there were a ton of
Magnum
them.
PI kind of like. Like you have a job as a regular thing, but also,
the accountant. He's an accountant by day, private investigator by night. That just made that up.
What's his name is doing one called The Beekeeper.
Oh yeah,
oh right,
Statham.
Statham, yeah.
I mean, he's actually like in a secret organization called
He's like
Beekeepers,
assassin or
but
something.
he does start as a beekeeper.
And as a
It's
legit
true.
beekeeper, yeah.
Well, that's their training.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of bees. You're not afraid of anything.
But it was funny, like watching the trailer for Fall Guy, and just Emily Blunt is in it as the director, and I'm just watching her going like, isn't she just dressed exactly like Greta Gerwig? Like watching all the back behind the scenes stuff of Barbie movie. Like Greta Gerwig's always in like that one piece suit.
That's
And I feel like
interesting,
she's like just mimicking that.
That could be it. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Is this a Greta Gerwig movie?
No. But it's just funny to me that like he's like got a crush on this director.
Yeah.
Like okay, I see what you're doing there.
I see you.
Yeah.
From the trailer, I think it just proves that Ryan Gosling is he's kind of like he could fit those characters of the 70s 80s so well because he's great at slapstick and great at his delivery but he could be that stoic character still,
right?
And like you've seen it in some of the past movies he's done so far that he could be compared to like a Steve McQueen and all those types.
Oh, absolutely.
Of just
absolutely.
he sells it every time.
I feel like he's one of those guys like he's a really goofy guy, but he never gets to be goofy.
No,
because there's like agents or whatever. Like he's just way too handsome to be goofy.
Like Channing Tatum,
right?
Once he started breaking out into comedic roles, I was like, he's really good at this.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see Fall Guy. I think
Fall Guy looks interesting. And then Chad, you recently checked out Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix.
Yes, it was a new animated series on Netflix that just dropped, and it's the animation looks amazing. It's like I have had a problem with a lot of 3D stuff that's been coming out. Like I've watched like one other one that I recently tried to dive into was the Onimusha series that just came out as well, and you could tell it's kind of just didn't have enough money behind it. But this one, the budget is like ridiculous because the animation, the cast, it's like you could tell they went all out with some of the cast members was George Takei and what's some of the other ones, Masaoka, and you have Shang Tsung coming in there.
I knew it.
Carrie Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Very nice.
Tagawa.
Very well done.
Sorry, my bad.
You had it right
last
the first
name.
time.
Yeah, Brenda Song. Just a large list of actors. Kenneth Branagh's in there and stuff like that. So I've only seen the first episode, which is an hour and like 2 minutes, but the rest that follow are like 40 something and whatnot. But pretty much the story follows a female samurai. You obviously know that from the beginning for yourself, but like everyone else doesn't know because she's disguised. She's hidden her female features behind a cloak and
a
hat
real
and,
Mulan.
Yes.
Pulled a real Mulan.
But she's also people as a kid she's got blue eyes, so she's half Japanese, half white, half whatever the other, and they consider like her a half breed, a demon, and things like that.
Right.
And so she
pulled a real 47 rune in there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of elements that come all around from different samurai like films and TV and stuff like that, and it really works for the character. The animation is just like to me it felt like a very Mulan, like Disney-esque, but with a hint of the video game that came out like a year or so ago, Sifu, which is it's got that kind of like the cel shaded look to it as well. And it just everything's just so beautiful in it, and
it kind of looks like those water brush scrolls.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. A lot of a lot of flowing colors, movement, and very interesting characters. They're not. No one just seems like thrown in there just for hell's sake. You know, at the moment, since I've only been in the first one.
So this is a show I can show my whole family, right?
Not at all. There is nudity in this cartoon.
Oh wow!
That's called a layup.
Everybody. I know. I was delightfully surprised. No, I'm just
oh my!
Stan may hate women, but Chad loves them.
Swords and
boobies. This makes everyone look bad.
That was the original title, I think. Swords and boobies.
No,
how can we just cut the knees out of everyone on the show?
Exactly. There's. It warns you in the beginning. I didn't even read that warning in the beginning of just like there's at
Swords
the top of the screen where it says sexual content, nudity, smoking.
That's why I tune in.
Yeah, of course. But
every 14-year-old boy's fantasy.
Yeah. But
I just watching a cartoon on Netflix.
The story's pretty much playing out like she's Kill Bill-esque. She's after these people who kind of. Well, yeah, they impregnated her mother, and then since she's been so hated as a child, she kind of resents being this way and stuff. So she's always hiding her self because everyone considers her to be ugly, but she's not. She looks great.
How great does she look, Chad?
Pretty great.
Yeah.
She's.
Out of 10. What are you going to give her?
Badass. That's a 10.
That's the appropriate answer.
But there's in the first episode. Because it flashed back to when she's like little and being teased, and she comes across this blind blacksmith who comes across this meteorite that hits the ground, and he's trying to turn this metal into a sword.
Yeah, and
she's been
living superpowers.
No superpowers.
Oh man,
no superpowers. She's just pure training, and she's as blacksmith is training other swordsmen when he makes them swords. She's been watching and learning and practicing, and he's been letting her...
She studied the blade.
Exactly. And she was actually able to... Because the blacksmith wasn't able to break into the metal of the meteorite. He was like, this metal can't be tamed. And like as a reveal later in that episode, it shows that she was able to make a sword out of it. And it's got this blue tint, just like her eyes, which is very cool. Nice. So I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
And...
Give me a sword to match my eyes.
I mean, I could do some of that. I could do that, maybe. What color are your eyes?
Blue.
Oh, shit, he's a blue eye samurai.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're part...
God. I can be part angel or devil.
There you go. There you are. But no, I really recommend it to anyone who is it's into anime, into... samurai, into I mean,
you guys are selling me on all these shows.
I know
that body sounds good. Like, yeah, I have some stuff to tune into besides Game Grumps now.
Yeah,
Netflix pay us. Come on.
Netflix.
We're talking this shit.
What I mean, you guys saw the trailer. Like, how did you guys think of?
I think it looked gorgeous. Yeah. It's interesting. Like with any kind of like anything that deals with like feudal Japan stuff, like they always try to throw in some mysticism. Like there's always like the spirits or something like that. And this looks like a straight up like, no, this is just a revenge story.
Yeah.
The animation looks gorgeous, like you say. Like it's got this great like flow to it, and even in the movement and some of the action sequences we've seen, just the way that they're able to pivot the camera around.
Oh yeah, the camera work in it is so good.
And it does give that kind of 70s like film vibe too, with like the blood spurts and stuff like that. You know, so I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Don't
Awesome.
threaten us.
I'm gonna.
Don't
you? I'm gonna.
I'm gonna send you to the Edo period, Dan, and then you're gonna be in real trouble, dude.
Yeah, you are.
You
Real
don't
trouble.
mind if I do.
Oh, dude.
There's the T-shirt.
Hey, we'll see you next week, everybody.
With that being said, one last thing before we go, we will be at Pasadena Comic Con.
Yeah.
Enter the Nerdom, our first public appearance.
We'll be there.
I am going to get a ticket just so I can go see you guys.
my god!
Nice. I hope so. Pasadena Comic Con and Toy Show on the 20th of January, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 4, and we will be there.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. You can ask Stan anything about Bleach.
About
Yeah.
Bleach,
Yeah, he's gonna know everything about.
He's gonna know anything and
Every
everything.
And
single
don't- yeah,
thing.
and
I mean, it's a great
all the
cleaning
minutia.
agent. Don't
Bleach
get
is
it on
his
your
Five Nights at
clothes.
Freddy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
knows
Don't
all the
don't drink
lore.
it. Wait, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
No, Bleach. Yeah. No,
Oh, we'll get into it.
Bleach is it's an anime that, and they're, I guess,
Don't play
the
coy. We know.
Yeah, here
We've
he
seen your full
goes.
body pillows.
I mean, you know, you're not supposed to talk
You know,
about those.
the full body pills of Bleach.
Bleach,
the
yeah.
character.
The main character.
You know,
Or show name or last
Yeah,
name or
exactly.
business associated.
Right.
But yeah, Bleach is an anime that's supposed to be Pasadena Comic Con is supposed to be, I guess, sponsoring a reunion of the cast.
Of all the cast members
Which
that
is
you
pretty
know,
dope.
like
Like,
with the characters they play
Uh,
are.
yeah, exactly.
We'll save it for the next
Yeah,
episode.
that's true. I know.
We-
I know you don't want to tip your
winding
hat
down
too
now.
much.
I took an hour to talk about Freddy's. We're
That's
winding
true,
down
yeah.
now.
The type.
Type it in.
Oh, this was pretty cool, actually. But yeah, we'll be there, Pasadena Comic Con
Yeah.
and Toy Show, 20th of January. We'll have a booth set up with all kinds of cool stuff. We're thinking
Yeah.
of possibly be doing a raffle,
Mhm.
and we'll as every episode that we do.
Yeah, so come
coming
in,
up to,
come in, say hi, complain to us.
Yeah.
Be like your episodes are too long.
Mhm.
possibly.
Why do you have Dan on like 17 times?
Yeah, a bunch of times. But
Why-
yeah,
more D&D, please.
we will get in more and more details the closer we get to it for each podcast. We'll talk about it.
And if you
we'll go
beat
from there.
Watson in arm wrestling, you
true.
get
Watson.
his shirt. You get his
Yeah,
shirt.
right off his
Right off his back.
I'm gonna
Right off
have
his
like
back.
17 shirts on.
Yeah.
Just
Be
keep
stripping off layer by layer.
It's like, damn it.
My
Also,
arm hurts so bad.
be sure to check out the Instagram as we watch this Chuck E. Cheese dump commercial.
Oh,
Yes.
kind of
yes.
thing, and we'll
We
get
should-
our reactions as
Yeah,
we
yeah.
watch it.
We should have it. We should have
Yes.
video of just Dan's face as we watch the
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, just him.
Just watch him
Watch the
break
lo-
down.
just-
Single tier.
Single tier. So is this love?
yeah.
If anything, we'll put water on his face. Just,
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Just if
He
he
just-
does.
You're gonna love it, Dan.
Because we
We're
know
gonna
he's a
watch it.
sociopath.
We're gonna watch it right now. You're gonna love it.
I don't feel anything.
Wait a minute. Also, isn't there another podcast?
There's another podcast, thank you, Chad, called the LAX Files, where I interview people who have things to do with Los Angeles. It's about the history, the culture, the events, and the organizations that make up Los Angeles what it is. I interview different people.
Such a good name.
Thank you very much. I interview them about what makes LA particularly a special city that it is.
Yeah,
Talk about
The
aliens.
LAX Files. I'm also working on. I just finished our friend Matt Zunick just finished reading my novel for me called The Armies That Remain. I'm editing it right now. Should be on YouTube soon. And
awesome.
thank you very much. And it takes place. You were talking about bodies.
Yeah.
And my novel takes place at the end of the Civil War in Atlanta, which is completely destroyed by the fighting and is occupied by the Union forces. And a serial killer begins to leave bodies in the ruins, and a young lieutenant has to investigate and try to catch the killer.
Nice.
Sounds
Of
like
course.
a good old time.
good old time
Thank you very much. And with that being said, take us out, Chad.
And enter the Nerdom, exit the Friday Night at Freddys arcade that is haunted by 5 murdered children that Dan knows so well.
Call me Mr. Munch now.
Yes, he is Mr. Munch, aka Afton.
It's
Where
Morphin
I'm-
Time 17. Smash that like. See you.